1. Alright, everybody, welcome to Deep Naked Thoughts. I was going to say Naked and Raw. I had another project called Naked and Raw. It didn't go through, but that was the intro that I rehearsed. This is Deep Naked Thoughts. Con Val and Alan. Alright, you guys. So this is my friend Alan Ruiz.
Hi,
and we've been friends for how long?
About as long as me and your brother's friendship. So about 10 to almost 11 years.
Almost 11 years. Let's see, what do I remember about Alan? Long nights, lots of video games, lots of pizza, lots of movies, deep, what is it? Nights? I don't know. Late nights? I don't fucking know. I don't have words. I just got off work, you guys, okay? Look, I just got off work. The thoughts are not there yet.
That's okay.
The thoughts will come. But Alan, tell us about yourself. Like, who are you? What are you doing? What's up?
Oh, that's a lot. That's
yeah.
You know, who am I? I think I'm still trying to figure that out, to be quite honest with you.
Who am I? Who am I? What is my name?
Well, to start off, right now I'm 24. I'm going to be 25 in about, give or take, 2 months.
Okay.
I was born in Mexico City.
Oh, seriously?
So, yeah.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah. So
damn, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so I'm from the motherland, but I lived here since I was a baby, about a year old. So I'm more Americanized, I guess you could say. Or I guess you could say I'm the whitest in my family. That's what my family says.
Okay.
But, gosh, who am I? I don't know. I'm somebody who likes to do something with their hands. So,
okay.
If I get a chance to do something or learn something with my hands, I'll pick it up quick. But not much of a book person, to be quite honest with you. I do like knowledge, though.
Okay. I think that's something that we both have in common because every time we talk, we're usually talking about ideas, thoughts, podcasts that we've listened to. We're always trying to learn from each other. And so when it came to the podcast, I have a dream list, I have a vision board. And I wrote down the name of 100 people that I wanted to interview, and you were top 10 of my list.
Oh.
Yeah, so it is really cool because it's really cool because, well, for me, it's cool on the end where after I interview somebody and I check them off, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's really cool to see the process of thinking about people and sharing their story and their experience and then actually crossing it off. So even this is oh shit, it's come to reality, oh my god. But one of the reasons why I wanted to interview you is because you inspire me a lot. I don't know if you ever knew that.
Really? No,
Yeah. So I don't know, I guess it's really weird because in a way I've grown up with you, but I've also watched you grow up because I am a little bit older than him. And so I did watch you and my brother grow up.
She looks younger.
Oh, no, dude, you're so smooth. See, I trained him well. It's good.
It's all life's experiences.
But I got to watch you grow up. I got to watch my little brother grow up. And then I got to watch both of you guys grow up together and then also kind of have, both of you guys' individual lives. But then at the same time do some of the same things at the same time. Both of you guys joined the military. And he was away, and then Alan became my best friend, and we would just hang out. And then you went away, and then I had my brother, and then my brother got sick, and all kinds of stuff happened. So I just feel we've lived through a lot, and I've also watched you live through a lot. And it's been kind of hard because I feel even though you're younger, I've just watched you go through a lot of really hard things, and I've just empathized with you, and I'm holy shit, how do you do it? See, I'm already getting emotional.
I know,
but I'm just it's so hard watching somebody that is so young go through the things that they go through. And then also I remember even at some periods in our lives you would stay with us, and I think a lot of people don't realize the reality of what they're going through or experiencing until years later. You're holy shit, our lives were completely different from a lot of different other kids.
Yeah.
Ugh, I'm already crying.
I know. I was I talked to your brother about that a lot. When we hang out. Don't get me wrong. Me and her brother, we're idiots, but we're also intelligent. For our age. And
absolutely.
That's not. I'm not trying to put ourselves on any kind of pedestal or anything like that. But I realize now, most people my age haven't experienced life like I have. Neither have with her brother, and I'm sure about either. And I feel that in part is like a Hispanic thing because of how we grew up and what we did in life and what we started with. Like I remember Jose telling me stories about you guys. Like what he would even show me the apartment that you guys came in. He's like, yeah, we used to sleep on the floor there.
Yeah, we're gonna get deep. We used to sleep. That was my rug. Oh
yeah,
my god.
And us too. Like when we got here to the U.S., it was a family of 5 in a 1-bedroom apartment. Like we all slept on a little floor, and we accumulated our little, a bed. Eventually moved to bigger space, but it took so much time. Like things that people don't realize they have since birth, we inherited by hard work.
Yeah,
and we never stopped. But at the same time, it's beautiful because it makes you appreciate what you do have. Like you can't see, but I have a TV here to my right. It's a Sony 2006 one of the first plasma TVs, and I take care of it with my life because since back then when my mother was alive and we were all together, that's the last thing I have of us all being together in one home, and it was the newest thing at the time that we had, and years later it's about as old as my nephew, and it's still one of the better TVs. It has lasted even the newest one. So like just things like that, I feel like people don't take into account what they have and what they have to work for and how to take care of it, because that's the bottom dollar, and
like learning to take care of things,
especially. Yes.
And that's crazy that you bring up like that my brother told you that, but yeah, it's so true. I think at this point nothing scares me because it's kind of like I've had nothing. Like if I can have nothing, I can have everything. It's kind of like I'm not scared. Like I've already fucking slept on the floor. It's like, what? You're gonna take my bed away from me? Fucking take it. Like at this point, it's like nothing. I'm not fazed by anything. It's like I've lived through a lot of things that some people don't know of, and that's okay. And you've gone through a lot of things that I don't know of. But like I've already lived some of my hardest days, and I'm sure there's gonna be like harder days ahead of me. But it's like I'm not scared to fail because I've already won so much. I started from nothing. Like I've literally had nothing, that it's like I'm not scared of anything. Like I have everything to gain. Yeah. I already know what it's like having nothing. At this point, I don't know, the world is your, what is it, your oyster?
Your oyster. Yeah. I feel like you meet very few people who can quite literally pick up and go somewhere else and just thrive.
Mm-hmm.
You don't meet many folks that you could be like, that person can go to another state right now and somehow they're gonna make it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't see that in a lot of people, and you and your family are one of the few people that I see that with. I can see you guys picking up and moving anywhere and making the best of it and thriving. Like not just making the best of it, like becoming successful people, because that's what you guys are.
Yeah.
Like I have the most respect for you and your family.
I have the most respect for you. And
your brother. I tell you guys. I always tell your brother. I was like, I don't know if you realize, but you inspire me. Like you are somebody that I look up to, because like we grew almost the same. I mean, give or take a few differences.
Yeah.
But you've taken your opportunities and you've grown them. You haven't stayed still, and you guys are always looking to do new things. I think that's what impresses me the most. Like your podcast now.
Oh, thanks.
Like this was a talk a couple years back.
It was. I was like, guys, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to have my own podcast. I wanted to like do it, and I was like, I don't know how.
But you figured it out.
Yeah.
You put your heart into it. And that's the key to it all, people. Like, put your heart into something. And if you can make money off of it, that's beautiful. But always go with the intention of, it's what I love to do, not what I can live off of.
Yeah.
And if you can live off of it, even better.
Yeah. And I think what's important for me is sharing stories that I think are worth telling. And that's another thing of like, when I was making my dream list of people that inspire me, it's like, whose stories inspire me? And so I think there's like a lot of, like themes of like perseverance and not giving up. But also I just think we grew up way too fast. And like, I think that, sometimes we didn't get like a normal childhood. Like we could not fuck up. Like we could not like mess up. Like the stakes were too high.
Yeah.
Like the stakes were too high, and sometimes I think I am a child at heart, and that's okay, but I think sometimes it stems from like I just didn't get to like have a regular childhood, and that's okay, and that's honestly totally fucking okay. Like it's made me who I am right now, and I love that. But sometimes I'm just like, dang, like sometimes I see kids and I'm like, I just love to see kids be kids.
Yeah. And I think that's important too.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this generation now, kids aren't getting to be kids. Like, I get that there's always been ideas hanging around in the air and what you hear in school and what your parents say, but like just let the kids be kids. Like they shouldn't have to worry about things that don't even matter to them. Like in reality, like I wrote a paper one time and it was the only paper that I actually got a good grade on because I'm not much of a writer, but it was a creative writing and I called it The Creative Crisis, and it was about how we go through life and the school system and our creativity just completely diminishes by the time we get to adulthood. Like we don't see 10 possibilities out of one thing that we see in front of us. We only see the one thing and the one possibility. While kids can take something and be like, I got 100 things that I can think of this.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're on par with
we become like narrow-minded and stuff.
we just become like, oh, it's only one road. But kids are like, I see like 50,000 roads.
Yeah.
And even if it's not the same thing at the
all
end,
realities.
I'm fine.
Like I could choose this reality. Yeah.
You know, so if you do retain your childhood, like you said, that's actually great. That's actually one of the best things in the world, because I think it pushes you to be not only a creative person, but a person who perseveres even when they have nothing, because it lets you think outside the box.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think like at my core, I think everything, not everything, because there's times to be serious, but I just want to have fun. And I just remember sometimes like not having enough or not having, you know, sometimes basic necessities, but just like making fun of it. And I think there's comedians like Trevor Noah and things like that. He's like, we were dirt poor, but we were so happy because we were having a fun time and we were laughing. And I can think back and relate and think of like the same things. And so I think it's different because like you grew up and you had your parents, but they were in another country, and then you'd come over to our house, and like I was just lucky. I was like, holy shit, like I have my parents. Like I may not have everything, but I have my two parents. And I was like, wow. And so that was like something that I was like, it kind of put things into perspective of like, you know, you might not have everything you might want and need, but you have a lot to be grateful for. So you taught me, honestly, to be grateful. I think there's themes in my life and people come in and teach me things, and I think you've taught me to be grateful.
I appreciate that. I don't ever feel like I teach anybody anything sometimes. No. So, I mean, it's really nice to hear. That's actually really sweet. You guys opened up your home to me like nobody ever has. I don't know. I've had family that's even put us down.
Oh my
who were
God.
supposed to help us. You know, like, and it still continues now. Like, even though we're not in Mexico, so to have people randomly just say, you know what, you're my second son, you're my other brother. Here's my home. Here's my food. Here's everything. You know, and it's just I cherish that, and I regret a lot of things when I was younger, in the sense of like I at some point even chose other people over the people that truly cared about me, and I think that haunts me a lot of the times because I did that with my mother. So just sorry, I'm gonna get all emotional, but care about the people that are actually truly there for you.
Yeah.
And understand the differences between the people who are just saying they're there for you and the people that are actually there for you. Because I didn't understand that as a kid, growing up in this world, on top of all the other things I had to worry about. But I think I get that more as an adult now, and that's why I spend so much time with your brother, because he's been there since forever, you know. And you have been there since forever.
And you've been there. I feel like we've been there for each other because we're trauma bonded. Just kidding. No, like we're all like baby. We get it. Same. You're sad. Same, bro. Same. No.
She always comes to me for guy advice.
Expose me like that. She's like every time.
No. I'm not exposing her. Not saying she makes mistakes. I'm saying that sometimes a woman doesn't understand the perspective of a man, and it's not a woman's fault. Like, we're built differently, we think differently. Like,
oh my God.
So to have an insight into what guys think and what guys want.
So if you're watching this, odds are I've told Ellen about you.
Yes.
Oh my God.
But don't worry, I don't remember names too. I just remember situations.
That's funny too. Like, I remember all the names. Oh my God.
Others, come on. You lived a lifetime.
Oh my
I'm sure
God.
you've all dated here. You guys probably have way more than she ever will.
The comments are going to be like, no, don't expose yourselves. Don't expose yourselves.
I know somebody might pick it up later.
No, I think one thing that you said is I can only trust actions. Like, I don't, at this point in my life, I don't really care what people say. Like, words, I don't want to say don't mean anything to me, but words really are just like, there's sounds coming out of your mouth. It's like, I hear what you're saying, but unless you show me, I don't believe you. And I wish I would have known that when I was younger, kind of like you said. And I think that you just live and you learn. And I felt that where I should have picked other friends versus the friends that I wanted, because the friends that I wanted were not treating me or showing me, the respect or dignity, or I wasn't treated the way I should have, versus like the people that cared about me.
Yeah.
And you don't learn that until you're older. But at this point, just trust actions. And I can say that as a behaviorist, but I study behavior. You can only trust actions.
You really can.
What else were you talking about? What? We talked about how somehow we segued into my dating life.
No, I didn't mean to segue.
We're not even going to talk about it. Like, what dating life? Where is no dating life right now?
I just meant, like, if you have somebody who you can trust to get the perspective of the other gender, then that is
I know.
a
Him and
window
my brother.
into something else.
My brother will tell me all this. He's like, can you believe she did this? And I was like, yeah. I can.
I don't think I brought too many
No.
comments to you.
No.
I was like, I will say, I've had my fair share of relationships. I usually try to keep. I guess maybe that's my problem. I don't like getting outside perspective, because I think a relationship should be sacred and should be like something you work together for. And I mean, yes, you can ask people, but you gotta ask the right people. You gotta ask the people that not only thinking about you, but they're thinking about the other person.
Yeah, their well-being too, their perspective. Yeah, because it's not like one-sided.
And speaking of podcasts, I saw a quote about that, something like that. This is like this billionaire guy, and he married like a woman, and then.
I love that. Honestly, just reading that thought. He married like a woman. I'm like, well, that's great. Like, I'm sad. I'm hoping that he didn't marry like a pony or something.
It's very sorry. I didn't mean to do that. He married a woman, but what he said, he's like, how do I say it? When I met her family, like, I wanted to see how they were with me, in the sense of when it came down to like the difficult conversations, the arguments, like, was that family like, nah, leave him, and you know what, if he's gonna be like that, then why bother? Or was that family like, look, I was like, you're like this, he's like this could be what's clashing. I was like, you guys should work towards this and talk about it and sit down and do the hard things, because this generation doesn't do that anymore. We don't sit down and have the hard conversations without getting offended, emotional, sad. And then we don't want to take outside perspectives, not from people, but in the sense of like what you lived through, like arguments you see from maybe family members, things like that. Like, put it all together and start to really think, okay, what was the root and what was the core of all of this, and what's the reality of the situation after? Because people don't think about after. They just think about, I need to be right, somebody needs to be wrong, and you know what, let's just blow this thing up like a nuke. That's not what life's about. And we're seeing this a lot. Like, I see a lot of podcasts of people going out there having interviews like this, or having conversations with people on the street. Okay. And they ask the wrong question, and boom, they get lit up by negative comments, or maybe even throwing something at them. I was like, when in reality, it's an opinion. Like, it's an opinion. Everybody's allowed to their opinion, whether somebody's wrong or right. That's only for God to decide. I was like, not supposed to be judgmental creatures. And we still do. We really do. And it's kind of sad. It really is, because we have bigger things we should be focusing on, and we focus on the wrong. So.
Dang, that was a lot.
Sorry.
Down. I'm all down. No, that was really good. So I've actually been doing a lot of research into dating. I used to do a lot of research into like dating apps, and I've done like a lot of research into like a lot of things. And it's not like on my own. No, I was an undergrad student, and I did like do a lot of research papers and like show what the data was saying. And like now there's like new data, so I'm actually really invested into like what the science says. But yeah, I think our society is just becoming like, everyone's replaceable, and I can find you on a dating app, and if it doesn't work out, I'll just like, thank you, next. And like, I think to a certain degree it should be like that. Like, don't waste your time. But at the other end, it's kind of like everything is so expendable.
Yeah. Like who's wasting whose time, right?
Yeah.
Is the other person wasting their time, or are you wasting your own time because you're
Yeah.
not ready?
Yeah. And then it's also kind of like lack of commitment. It's lack of like, wanting to be serious with somebody and, sitting down and having those hard conversations. It's like, okay, like it's a choice. I think at this point we choose somebody and we're like, okay, like what do we got to work through? Like, obviously all of us have issues or traumas or baggage, something, It's like, okay, like how can I help you work through that? And like, how can you help me work through this? And how can we build a stronger team? And that's what I'm looking at now. It's perspective. It's like, I just want a partner. And like a strong partner sense is like, nah, like we are like a dream team. Like we are building, like, nah, you're feeling down, like let's get up and let's go. Like you can't feel sorry for yourself, bro. Like let's go. Like I want a teammate.
Yeah.
I want a teammate.
Don't we all?
Don't we all? Cheers. Cheers. Don't we all?
Don't worry, there's not Christmas Baileys in here. Just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
No, but I completely agree. I mean, like I said, it's all a generational thing. I mean, people bag on the old generation because of like the negative views, but they don't see like the statistical side of the positive, which one of those being commitment. We have so much access to technology. I mean, it's in our pocket, it's on our watch. Like there's never a time where you can't see a naked man or a naked woman. And I think that is what really skews the view of what. Because seeing somebody naked was a sacred thing. Like it was something you had to work towards, a relationship, marriage, and now you have that everywhere. So like me being a male, like they call us dogs, right? You call males dogs.
No, I don't.
No, not you. I said they
don't.
call males dogs, but because we have that, like, so once we hit like maybe 14, at least for me, like I was already like, man, like. I want to experience, like, first women, right? I want to talk to them, I want to kiss them. Then when I got to experience, like, the sexual side, I was like, wow, like, I want more of this. And I could go wherever, like, however much. And now as I'm getting older, like, that's slowly starting to decrease in me. And I mean, it's like, I don't want to chase women anymore. I want somebody who's going to be here when it's hard and when I need to retreat into something. And I need somebody there to listen and to pick me up, like. And that drive, that's why marriage was perfect. Marriage is perfect because the wife was supposed to fill the role of the drive. Meaning, yeah, you guys are supposed to have sex and it was all supposed to be beautiful. But she was supposed to take that urge away from you so you could take this and thrive and build up the family. And now we get that so frequently and so easily.
Oh, that even like women are replaceable. It's like, well, if you're not gonna give it up, like I'll just find somebody that will.
Yeah, or it's true. There's even people that replace it for their phones, which puzzles me. But I mean, I don't know. I think the technology has sent us so far forward and so far back at the same time. Like people used to calculate what rocket science was on a piece of paper with books. Now people can't even do that. Like we supposedly can't even build a rocket like we used to in the 60s. But that's because people were using this computer, not this. So we've dumbed down because we no longer put in the work. We're just like, hey dude, Google, what can we do? How do you do this?
Yeah, actually there was, I think it was like a study of our working memory, and our working memory is like the one that is used to like access information. And then there's long-term memory, which is the one that's used to store like memories. And we used to be able to memorize phone numbers because we didn't have a phone book, or we didn't have our phone, we didn't have our contacts. And it's crazy because without my phone, I don't want to say I'm useless. I'm not. I'm very useful. I'm very useful.
Hashtag 90s kids. Just kidding.
But like if you're like, call Alan, I'll be like, what? Like who? I think I have like 2 phone numbers memorized, and it's mine and my mom's, and that's it.
Back then I used to memorize my mom's phone numbers for all her friends. She'd be like, what's the number? I'd be like, oh, it's this.
Yeah, but now we just
have our contact.
Yeah.
And even then, I mean, I can, don't get me wrong, if I commit it to memory, I can, but most of the time, Jose's been my best friend for, let's see, he changed his number 2 years back, I think.
Oh.
But it used to be 575.
Don't.
Dot.
Oh my gosh.
But I still remember that number. Now I don't know his new number. Like,
Yeah.
so just things like that. It usually tends to be, for me, it's somebody, if it's somebody special, I'll make the effort to remember it, if in any case. Also, he's like my emergency contact. Like if I go to jail, end up in a hospital,
You know,
like I'll probably remember his number before.
That's
my
funny.
own family.
There's some forms of like just important stuff. We're gonna pause this video because I'm recording on two cameras. By the way, you guys, one camera can only record for like 25 minutes. So stay tuned for part 2. Okay, stay tuned for part 2.
Part 2.
What is it? What is number 3, my lord?
Pick number 3, my lord.
Number 3, my lord. Stay tuned for part 2, and we'll be back with more deep naked thoughts. Yeah. Oh my god.